Good afternoon everybody and welcome to WildEarth. My name is Marco. For a lot of you out there I might be a new face, but I'm sure over the next couple of weeks I'll become a familiar part of the WildEarth team. It's now 4:30 Central African time. Another beautiful day out in Africa. We've got Peter behind camera, Jan back in manning the helm in the FCC, and of course our faithful steed Jigger. We're going to be heading out and exploring the bushveld today. It's going to be quite an exciting drive. Of course, being new to the team, I've had to learn quite a bit, and especially learn the roads. But Peter behind the camera is going to give us a bit of a hand. So I invite you all, come out, join me, let us go explore the bush and see what's happening out there.
Okay. It's a bit narrow, but
no problem, man. This little Jigger will get us there. Look at that! Look at that! Well, everybody, well, that was definitely a good call, eh? Unbelievable. You can even see the dust cloud from where they came from. This is spectacular. Birds of such large numbers, it is important that they move around quite a bit because they consume vast amounts of grass, vegetation. But when they do settle down to rest and they ruminate, at the point when they decide to move off again, it's actually a group of females that decide that. It's a fairly democratic system, one could say. The older females, which we call the pathfinders, they'll stand up and some will head off in one direction and some will head off in the other, and say maybe 70% head off to the east and 30% only want to go to the north. The rest of the herd will tend to follow the 70%, and then the followers will all kind of straddle along, and you'll have the direction going. So it's almost like an unconscious vote, and that's how they'll decide where they head through the bush. And again, where they sit in the herd is also very important. Can you see? Oh, there we go. Look at that tiny little one there. Okay, you can still see that very, very light brown colour. That can't be very old, that little youngster. And again, another old female to the right, lost a horn. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, I've been stopping collecting a couple of things. As a guide in the bush, I am having quite a bit of guiding experience. A lot of guides tend to pick up their own interests, specific interests, and one very big interest for me was botany. Now, I know a lot of people might be thinking, oh, botany, it can be quite a boring subject, and especially when it comes to botanical names and so on. But my biggest interest in botany is the uses of the plants, especially medicinal uses. And not to go into a lot of detail, but just to give you a very, very quick and brief explanation of why this subject fascinates me, is I've picked up three plants over here, and roughly, very quickly, what each are used for. This one is called a russet bush willow. You take these leaves, you boil them up in a little bit of water for about 20 minutes, and you drink that, and it induces diarrhea. Okay, not a very pleasant thing, but not proud of it, but as a guide, you know, you have to try these things to be able to be sure that they work, and it works quite well, I must say. This plant over here is called a silver cluster leaf. This clears up diarrhea. It has a chemical in it that binds liquid called tannin. You eat a few of these leaves and your stomach should be sorted out. So there's a lot of medicinal uses for plants out over here. And well, this one over here, since we're on the subject, it's called a weeping wattle. It's also got a nickname. We call it the wiping wattle. I'm sure you can use your imagination. This makes the best bush toilet paper out over here. So that's just a very brief explanation on why I enjoy the subject. There's a lot of uses out here. The bush is like a pharmacy of its own, and with time and with more drives I'll point out a few of the more interesting things out in the bush. But very fascinating subject, and I'm always looking for uses of plants. So we'll definitely be pointing out a few of the interesting ones on our drives. One needs no introduction whatsoever. I think in the last couple of days, especially last night, we all became very familiar with this one. It's our newly named white-tailed mongoose, Mojo. So like I was saying, it's a really awesome way to be able to view animal activity at night, especially these small nocturnal ones. I mean, look at that, it's very, very relaxed. Totally unawares of our well, not responding to our presence. It's something that's actually being out here and trying to view it just with the naked eye. You would have to shine some kind of light on it, which would, in a way, perhaps have some impact on its behavior. So it's really awesome to be able to take advantage of this infrared technology and to be able to sit and view this animal.